Welcome to the pod. Hi, my name is Cassie. I am the founder of The Full Routine Pilates studio based here in beautiful Newport Beach, California. And the whole thing with The Full Routine, we're a Pilates studio. We teach traditional reformer Pilates. We also teach a signature class called Mack, Make It Hot, which is based in traditional Pilates mat exercises. And then we throw in arm series and full body leg series to make it a complete routine, which is super cool to sandwich in between your reformer workouts. The full routine, the definition of that is a stack of daily non-negotiable habits and practices that help you to live the type of life that you desire. And within this like big stack of the full routine, I have found that I have like all of these little routines that I do. I have my morning routine, I have my workout routine, I have my lunchtime routine, I have my take all my makeup off, all my mascara off at the end of the day routine. And I think it's really interesting when you hear other people's routines that, I always learn something or pick up a cute little tip or trick or something that's super useful. So my goal with this podcast was to talk about different routines that I have, and then also talk to really cool, interesting people to find out what their routines are. And so today I'm really excited to welcome Kelsey to the pod. Kelsey is one of the instructors here at The Full Routine. And I'm trying to remember, how did you found me? No,
Lisa, a friend that we have connected us, and I'm just starting out my Pilates journey, and she was like, I feel like you would connect really well with Cassie. I feel like you guys have similar energy. She's opening up a studio and I want you to work there. So she connected us, and I'm not gonna lie, I was really intimidated reaching out to you. I don't know why. I just was like, I really want to be a Pilates instructor. I just want someone to give me a chance. So I sent you the message, and when you were like, I'm ready, I was praying. I wanted to start somewhere, and I'm really grateful that I landed here because I love what we stand for here at The Full Routine. So
I love
that is how we connected online.
I'm super intimidating, and now she sees
not
like
even at all. You have such inviting energy, and I feel like that's really important when it comes to connecting with people and running something like this. So grateful for that.
I was teasing when I said I'm super intimidating, but I think like people, because you're not the first person that says it. I don't know that I'm intimidating, but I think there's like this, we all have this persona. Like you, when I first saw you on Instagram, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's like totally dialed in. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's got all this huge following. So we have these preconceived notions about people.
Totally.
And so Kelsey's like seen me like, messy and without water and all the things. But when I first met Kelsey, it was online, and I definitely looked at her Instagram, and one of the first like series of stories and videos that I saw about you was this like nighttime routine. So here I saw this like super glam, put together, beautiful young woman who just gave off this like one type of persona, and then the next story she's like wrapped up in like a cocoon with like this tape on her mouth and like doing different things, and I'm like, this is interesting. And so today I want to talk about your nighttime routine. I want to know first, why do you, like, don't tell us what's in the routine, but why did you come up with this routine?
I feel like it started about 2 years ago, and it really started with my mornings because I started to get up at 5 a.m. consistently about 2 years ago. That was something that I stuck to because I felt like a lot of successful people had strong morning routines, and I felt like although my morning started off early, it really started the night before. So I wanted to be able to create a routine that was going to make me feel good in the morning and was going to make me feel well rested. And I'm a huge sleep person. You will never catch me having less than 7 or 8 hours of sleep because sleep is so important. So it really started in the morning with me getting up at 5 a.m. and for me to feel refreshed and energized and not hitting my alarm clock, it created me to have a strong nighttime routine. So that's kind of how that started about 2 years ago. And I feel like within the last year, I've really dialed that in because I know how it feels to feel good when I wake up. I'm not reaching for caffeine instantly, and that really started with having a strong nighttime routine.
All right, so well, first I want to say I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb. So if my phone goes off, I'm just gonna like be regular, like a regular girl. I'm gonna get up and or maybe I'll just like try to look at it on my watch. Does anybody know how to do this on my watch?
It usually will just pop up for you.
Hit it on Do Not Disturb. Should I go, hey Siri, put my phone on Do Not Disturb. See if she's gonna work. She says she's on it.
She says she's on it. Good.
I know. I don't know. So if it goes off, I'm just gonna be a regular person and go get up. So, all right. How does this nighttime routine start? What time does it start?
I usually start winding down at 5 p.m., which I know is really early, but at this point I've been up for 12 hours. Most of my energy is first shot in the morning around 2-3 p.m. I really try to not intake any more caffeine around 5 p.m. My phone sometimes will go on Do Not Disturb, but I don't really take on a lot of other tasks because I like to wind down. My first thing is to figure out what I'm having for dinner. So I like to have dinner at least 2 hours before I go to bed because I feel like I personally sleep better on an empty stomach, which everyone is so different, but that's just me. So usually I'm getting ready to cook something nutritious. I love protein-packed meals. That's like my first step is winding down with dinner. I'm usually playing, I'm really into Taylor Swift right now, obviously. Obviously, wink, wink. But I love to play like John Mayer, coffee style music. I feel like it just puts me into a Zen state. I usually get myself into bed or I'll lay down on the couch around 7:30. At this point, I usually have blue light blockers on because if the TV is running or I'm on my phone, you shouldn't have too much blue light stimulation. So I have blue light blockers on or my phone's on Do Not Disturb. I really try to not pick it up unless it's work related or something that's extremely important. But that's usually around 7:30. Around 8, I usually go lay in bed. I have a sleep spray that I use. It has magnesium. It's amazing. This is something that I spray on my tongue 8 times. I also,
and I should say we're gonna list all of the things that are part of Kelsey's night routine, and if we have links to them, we'll post them. But you have the spray, and I did that. I did see you say it was like 8 times. That was like one of the first. That was the first video that I saw. So a magnesium sleep spray.
Yes.
You spray it 8 times.
Yeah.
And the magnesium helps for relaxation.
And it also has melatonin in it, but not too much where you wake up extremely groggy the next morning, because I have had that issue where I literally never use an alarm. My body is my alarm clock, and I feel like if I have too much of magnesium too much of melatonin, it makes me really groggy in the morning, which is the last thing I want. So this one's like a perfect mix. So I usually will do that around 8 p.m. It takes about 45 minutes to set in, so then I'll go wash my face. I will do like my nighttime skincare routine after I've taken a shower.
So it's like a routine within a routine.
Yeah, so there's like a lot of little parts in here that kind of make up the whole routine.
Okay.
My first thing is always the sleep spray because it takes some time to kick in. Then I will go wash my face with my full routine.
Skincare for another pod.
All that stuff. Once I'm actually ready to lay in bed, I'll get into bed. At this point, I already have my pajamas on. I sleep with an eye mask.
Well, wait, you have certain pajamas that you sleep in.
I actually love to just sleep in a really big, oversized t-shirt and like boy shorts. My boyfriend always like, I wish you would wear something a little more like sexier, but that's just what I feel comfortable in. Like I don't really care for lingerie. I love to be comfortable. I love to like have lots of air when I sleep, because we sleep with it at 59 degrees.
Oh my.
I know. We sleep with it really cold, but studies show, and also just from personal preference, because I sleep with my partner in the bed, we both like it extremely cold, and it's usually like 60 degrees, but we have 2 layers of blankets. So we have sheets, we have the big Costco blanket, it's kind of quilted, and then we have I don't know if it's a duvet or if it's just almost like a weighted blanket, but that's what we use during the winter because it's freezing.
Just turn on a heater.
I love it like that. I feel like I can sleep so well, but
I mean, I like it cooler, but 59.
My boyfriend likes it that cold. Personally, if I picked, I probably would have it around like 63. I can't sleep in the heat. If I start to sweat, I'm rolling around all night. That's the last thing I want to be doing is interrupting my sleep. So we like it cold. Okay. So I usually go turn the dial down. Pajamas are on, sleep spray is in, skincare is done. I'm getting into bed. The air is on. My next thing is I drink some water before I go to sleep. So I will have 30 ounces of water. Sometimes I like to go to sleep hydrated because, well, I'm gonna get to the mouth tape part after, but this is the last time I'm drinking anything. I don't drink anything throughout the night. I do sometimes like to have a sleepy time tea with peppermint, or I've been really into like the spearmint kick. I don't know if you're familiar with spearmint tea, but it does really help with your skin. I'll put a little bit of honey in it. That's like my nighttime treat. So I'll do that. That's on my bedside.
That's 30 ounces of liquid.
I like to drink water, and I usually will fall asleep. I'll go to the bathroom one time, but that's about it because I don't like to interrupt my sleep. But I notice that if I don't drink any water, any fluid before bed, I usually wake up extremely dry. I feel I don't know, I need something in my mouth. I feel like my mouth gets really dry. Yeah. But we'll talk about the mouth tape part, but this is like the last time I'm drinking because I'm not taking the mouth tape off during the night to like drink any water. Yeah. But I would say like 15 to 30 ounces, like a good amount to make sure that I wake up hydrated. So I drink some water, finish the tea. I have my eye mask, but I always put over my eyes because I need to sleep with it pitch black. I don't like any light at all in my eyes. So the eye mask comes on. I sleep with earplugs. I sleep with earplugs because I have cats and they are so loud at night. I don't like any of my sleep being disrupted. My boyfriend also stays up way later than I do because, I mean, he gets up earlier than me, but he stays up way later than me because he can function on like 5 hours of sleep. I need at least 8. So at this point, it's usually 9 o'clock. I put my phone on sleep mode. I'm not touching it. I've had my tea. I have my earplugs in, I have my eye mask on, or like on my forehead, and then I grab my mouth tape. So this is something that Cassie, I feel like, was really interested in because I think mouth tape is becoming kind of more prevalent. Do you know anyone else that uses it?
I've started seeing, I had one friend that I used to work with at fight camp, Flo, and he used hostage tape, and he would tape his mouth shut. And then I have another friend, Shalene Johnson, who...
I totally know that name.
Yeah, you know her. You know her from
Instagram.
The Instagram machine. She started taping her mouth shut as well and started seeing benefits. And I feel like I have a couple others who have played with it.
I want to bring you some.
But I have a feeling mouth tape is coming my way.
I want to bring you some. And here's the thing. So I personally... I snore and I sleep with my mouth wide open, and this would cause a lot of issues. I am like immune compromised, so this is also an issue with the really cold air. I feel like I can sleep with it this cold because I tape my mouth shut now. But before, I'd be sleeping mouth wide open, air is blowing into my mouth. Your mouth gets that really funky film in it in the morning. If you wake up and you kind of feel it on your tongue, your throat will feel dry. Also, this doesn't happen to everybody, but if you sleep with your mouth open for too long, it kind of deforms your jaw.
Yeah, that is, I don't know that it just like deforms your jaw.
It makes your nose protrude forward more and your chin shift back.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I've never noticed it on myself, but not to call my boyfriend out, but he sleeps with his mouth wide open. He snores. He will not use the mouth tape. I've tried for so long. He's like, I'm going to suffocate and die. And I'm like, no, you're not. But I do think that there are a certain type of people that shouldn't use mouth tape. If you have sleep apnea, if you have issues nasal breathing, I probably would steer away from it, or at least talk to someone and get
medical clearance.
Just to be careful because you are breathing through your nose, especially if you're sick. Obviously, when I was sick, I didn't tape my mouth shut, but there's a lot of benefits to mouth taping, and I feel like I started this, I want to say probably about a year ago, And I wasn't extremely consistent with it, but I did notice, I used to have the Oura Ring. I'm really sad I don't have it anymore. I lost it. I know you have one and you probably love it. But I noticed that when I would sleep with mouth tape, the only thing that would change is my sleep score would be better. And when I didn't sleep with mouth tape, my sleep score was not as good. And I think it's just because I'm rolling around, you know, my mouth is getting all dry. I'm reaching for water at night just because I kind of have that funky film because I'm sleeping with my mouth wide open. So I really decided I'm gonna just stick with this and see how I feel. So I started doing the mouth tape. There's a certain kind you wanna get, so you don't wanna just ever put like tape or duct tape on your mouth because your whole mouth should never be completely covered when you sleep with mouth tape. So there's a few different brands. I really like Better Sleep. They reached out to me, they sent me a pack. I've been consistently buying it after that. It's orange, it's really small, so it's not like you look awkward. My boyfriend always jokes, he's like, what is wrong with my girlfriend? I come in, I have the eye masks on, the earplugs in, the mouth tape on, like he knows I'm off limits, like don't touch me. But he always laughs. He's like, I'm out there with the mouth tape on, I have my eye mask. Like that's just how I sleep comfortably. I know that's not for everyone, but you wanna make sure that there's certain ones you wanna get. You wanna make sure that it's a good one where it's not, when you're ripping it off, your whole skin's not flying off, because there's some brands out there that the adhesive is really, really sticky. You wanna make sure that it's not completely covering your entire mouth, because you should still be able to breathe a little tiny bit. Like your lips aren't gonna be like completely shut. There's usually like a little tiny sliver. And you also want to make sure that it fits comfortably on your mouth and that it stays, because I have tried brands where it's slipping around at night and you end up just kind of like taking it off. But there's certain brands you want to find. There's a really good one on Amazon. It's clear. I don't know the exact name of it, but I can send it to you. And most of them are pretty affordable. But I always say, recommend starting out, even if you just do it 3 times a week, see how you feel. It can completely change the game. I can't sleep without it. I am a diehard mouth taper at night. I feel like it really focuses on nasal breathing, and this is something that a lot of us don't do. We tend to breathe with our mouth throughout the entire day, but it really forces you to completely fill your to fill your lungs with air, and then you're exhaling it out, and it just is clearing your entire system. So I feel like it has so many benefits, and it's just something that has really improved my sleep cycle.
I mean, I know I had done a couple workshops on nasal breathing as it pertains to workouts and the importance of keeping your mouth shut while you're doing cardio. As an instructor, at the time when I had done that workshop, I was teaching indoor cycling, and I'm like, well, I literally have to have my mouth open the whole time because I'm talking the whole time that I'm teaching. But I still to this day, on occasion, try to run with my mouth shut. But some of the other benefits I know are, one, better immunity, because so many germs are taken in through our mouth, and so to have nasal breathing is much more less germs type situation. It also is forcing us to keep our mucous membranes moist. I know that word is very popular.
It doesn't bother me
on podcasts, but to keep all of that moist, you know, when your mucous membranes dry out, that also helps breed germs and viruses and stuff in your system. I've also heard that mouth taping, keeping the saliva in your mouth is really good for dental hygiene.
Totally.
So I'd be curious if you had dental stuff before, and if that changes. It can help with face structure. Shalene talks about that as well, that when she started mouth taping, her jawline changed.
Totally.
I don't know if it changed back to what it was when she was younger. Kelsey's very young in comparison to myself. So your jaw might not have shifted as much as like my jaw has shifted over the years. So I'm definitely open. I'm gonna try it.
I would love to bring you some.
Yeah, I wanna try it because I think it's one of those hacks that doesn't cost a lot of money. Maddie's here filming for us today, and Maddie and I had a conversation, I think last time we were filming a pod, about wellness things that you can do that don't cost a lot of money.
Totally.
And mouth taping is probably one of those things, because sleep at the end of the day is, well, that's a phrase, but pun intended. Having a really good night's sleep totally sets you up for success and or failure if you don't get a good night's sleep. and it's so important.
I preach, especially being in health and wellness. You gave like a really great intro of me earlier, but I've been in the health and wellness field for 10 years and helping a lot of people get their dream bodies, get healthy, feel their best. And I think people don't take into account how important sleep is into the full routine. And people are on their water, they're on their eating, they're on their exercise, and you talk to them and I'm like, how is your sleep patterns? And I'm up all night, you know, I'm extremely stimulated at night, I can't sleep. And that part plays a huge role into your overall wellness. And I feel like you can have all of the other parts at 100, but if your sleep isn't there, it's gonna cause you a lot of other issues. And another thing that we see, especially in, like, playing into your sleep, is if you've had a terrible night's sleep the night before, you tend to rely on caffeine the next day. Caffeine's getting you through your entire day, you're completely wired, and then at night you can't sleep. And before I got into Pilates, I was a huge gym junkie, and I would probably consume 600 milligrams of caffeine a day. 300 of that would be me scooping pre-workout into my mouth and swallowing it with like a splash of water. I lived off of caffeine. I know it's terrible for you, but I feel like when you're on this cycle, your sleep is not up to par, you're relying on caffeine. It's like this cycle of you going through this hamster wheel. So I feel like the first thing you can do is have a nighttime routine. I always say it starts the night before. Have a really solid nighttime routine. Another thing is I don't drink alcohol anymore. That's obviously helped my sleep a lot because a lot of people tend to drink alcohol at night. It upsets your sleep pattern. You know, you're feeling terrible the next day. So really focusing on things that are gonna help improve your sleep. You don't have to do it all at once, but I started incorporating this. The mouth tape was the first thing I started incorporating. Then I started incorporating the sleep spray. Then I actually started using an eye mask about 6 months ago because I went on a trip and I stayed in a room with other people that stayed up way later than me. They had the lights blaring and I just needed something to make sure that I could fall asleep. That's how that started. And then the earplugs, I want to say, started about a year ago because I have a cat who knows how to hit my door handle. I don't let them sleep with me because they interrupt my sleep and I didn't want to hear it all night. So I started doing that, and because, sorry boyfriend, but he snores and he won't wear the mouth tape, and I don't want anyone, I am a sleep snob. People are like, when are you having kids? I'm like, not ready for that yet because that's gonna interrupt my sleep. And I just feel like for me to operate at 100, I need to make sure that obviously I'm exercising, I'm eating healthy, but I also think sleep is such an important part of the routine. You know, and I think when you have something to look forward to each night, making your own nighttime routine, I know you have an amazing morning routine. I think the nighttime and morning routine will set you up for success, but you have to just start slow. I'm not saying you need to go and buy earplugs and eye mask and mouth tape, but I do think that if you're struggling with sleep, maybe think of some things like, okay, I'll try out the mouth tape. I think I bought a pack of like 50 for 20 bucks on Amazon, or the other brand. I think they gave me a code. I can have it sent to you so you can get people a discount. But just try it out, and I promise you're gonna sleep so good. I can't sleep without it now. So I love having the mouth tape.
Is there anything that you've left out of this sleep routine?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
She got it all.
I think I got everything, and I feel like it wasn't always this way, but I love my sleep, and I feel that's what helps me have so much energy. And some people I know, some people are way more active at night. I'm just not that way. I have way more energy in the morning, so I go to sleep earlier. That's another thing. People always ask, how do you get up so early? Well, I started going to sleep earlier, and it took me some time to get used to that routine, but now even on the weekends, I'm up. I try not to wake up and have to rush out the door because I feel like you kind of need to have some balance there, especially as women with our cortisol. I know you love to get out early, you love to exercise. Being in direct sunlight in the morning is great for you. But really being able to kind of have either a really strong nighttime or morning or both, I feel like is really going to give you the full sphere when it comes to the full routine. So.
Two things I wanted to touch on before we wrap it up. Kelsey talked about how this like cycle that you set up. So if you go back to I think we talked about it on the last pod. I talk about the wheel of wellness or the wheel of unwellness, and it's like all these things. And she said hamster wheel, and like it's totally that. So all of these routines stacked together is your full routine that helps you to live that life that you really do desire. I love that she said to take baby steps, because if you try to change everything all at once, you're going to get frustrated, you're going to say F it, you're just going to go back to your old habits.
Totally.
So I think changing one thing at a time is really important. And then the only other thing I wanted to touch on was she talked about not drinking alcohol anymore. I actually have never had a drink of alcohol, and I think that it really does affect sleep for women. And I just wanted to touch on like the 2 or 3 different ways. And the first one is a lot of women use it as a crutch to fall asleep at night. And the reality is 1 glass of alcohol or half a glass of alcohol might help you fall asleep at night, but you're gonna wake up because you have to go to the bathroom because it is a liquid. And typically when you do that wake up, it spikes your body temperature, it turns on your head because you actually had a false sense of sleep. The alcohol put you to sleep, but your central nervous system didn't. And so it's awake. And you will also have a drop in blood sugar, and oftentimes will get even jittery, or if that's a word, hungry or agitated, because you are now hot, your brain is going off, and you're hungry or shaky. So then therefore you're agitated. And then you can't fall back to sleep, and your mind starts racing, and then you just get the F-its, and before you know it's time, it's just like this whole thing. So I know it makes us semi-unpopular, although living a lifestyle without alcohol is becoming a little more popular and on trend these days. But she and I both chose not to drink for different reasons, and I think that we are much healthier for it. Healthier, happier, more satisfied in all aspects of life. So I encourage you, if that's something that you're thinking that you might want to make a change, I would say screw the mouth tape and stop drinking alcohol.
Totally. That's the first step.
1,000 times over. You'll also see all other aspects of your life benefit, including your weight, your skin, your mood, your creativity, your energy, everything. So on that happy note, Kelsey, how can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. I have 2 Instagrams. So I have my Pilates Instagram, which is Pilates with Kels. And then I have my personal Instagram, which is Kelsey_Garbe. And you can find me here teaching at the Full Routine. I'm here Monday through Friday. We would love to have you here if you're not here yet. We have Reformer, we have Matt. I know Cassie's probably explained all of this, but it's kind of nice to hear it from someone else sometimes. So we would love to have you here. We want to be a part of your full routine. And I will send Cassie all of the stuff that I use. There's some great alternatives out there if you don't want to drink anymore, to kind of take that baby step. Like I said, you don't have to cut it out cold turkey, but there's so many options you can use to kind of fill that crutch. So
love it. Well, thanks for listening to the pod. If you have a routine that you want to share with us, send us a DM on the Full Routine Instagram account, which is just at the Full Routine, or me, Smarty Cassie, on Instagram. If you have a topic that you want us to talk about, I'll find somebody who has a routine that you are interested in and have them on the pod. And other than that, peace out. Word to your mother.